Hi everyone, it's Tammy, and this is going to be my first card tutorial for 2018, and I really appreciate you guys voting earlier in 2017 to let me know what you guys wanted to see, and a lot of you said cards and tutorials. So I am trying to do a tutorial a week, and I wanted to start off with a card holder because we're going to be making some cards and this will give you somewhere to put them. So I thought this would be nice. So what you're going to need for this, and I'm going to try to remember to do something like this for the videos and just leave it out so that you guys can pause it and look at it at your leisure and know what size papers you need. But you do need a 6x12 pattern paper. And I'm underlining the side that you need to score it at. So 6x12, the 12 is underlined. That means that you need to score that side. So you'll score this at 4.5, at 6.5, and 11. And then you also need a piece of 4x6 pattern paper. And whoops, that's not 4x6. Yes, it is. And you're going to score this at 2 inches. So it's like this, and it's going to be scored here. And then you also need, oh, and I don't think I wrote it on there, you need a piece of 2x6 piece of pattern paper, and I did not write that on there. 2x6, I will get better at this probably, patterned paper. And you also need 2 pieces of 3 3/4 by 4 inch pattern paper, and you're going to score this every 1/2 inch on the 4 inch side, which I think might be this side, but I'm not sure. I'll have to measure it before I score it. So it'll be scored every 1/2 inch. And then you also need 3 pieces of white cardstock, and this is cut at 3 7/8 by 5.5. These are actually going to be the dividers on the inside, so they don't have to be white. You can make them any color you want. And as a matter of fact, when I'm looking at that with this, I'm kind of thinking I should probably use like an off-white color for this one. And I think I'm just going to cut some new ones in an off-white color. And so a 3 7/8 by 5.5. So I'm going to cut it first at 5.5. And then I'm going to cut it at 3 7/8. 1, 2, 3 times. And that makes me much happier. I have my trash bag up here. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I think I'm going to use just my handy dandy cutter to do the scoring because I have it handy. If you have your Score Pal handy and you want to use that, by all means, just use whatever you have handy. That's what I'm going to try to do in this series, is just really try to use up my scraps or paper that I have had in my stash for years and haven't used, and I'm going to teach everybody something and do it for myself. Now, all of these, just so you know, I have done at one point or another in my lifetime, but that doesn't mean I've done it recently. I have not made this recently for sure. A couple other things that it tells you that you should use are ribbon. This is totally optional. Score tape, a punch, like a edge puncher, optional, and a magnet, optional. Magnets are really cool though, so I would recommend a magnet, but you don't have to have a magnet, but you'll be glad you did if you have one. But I wouldn't rush out and get one if you're just going to make one of these projects, for sure. This is definitely a don't rush out and get anything kind of a project. So the 6x12 pattern paper, I'm going to score it at 4.5. I might get out my scorer because I do like having a scorer, but okay, I'm just going to do this. 4.5 and 6. See, I hate having to pull out the arm. That's honestly why I don't like that. Okay, 4.5, 6.5, and 11. 4.5, 6.5, and 11. And I could figure it out backwards so that I wouldn't have to pull out the arm, but that's just too much thinking right now. So that one's scored. And then my 4x6 piece of paper on the 4-inch side, I'm going to need to score this at 2 inches. And you can remember which one of these, if you have a Stampin' Up! Cutter. The light one, it doesn't cut all the way through, so it's a lighter color. The dark one cuts all the way through. This is a cutter. So this is the score, this is the cutter. So I'm just leaving the cutter pulled all the way at the bottom, so I'm not going to be tempted to use it. So after I've scored that one, I'm done with that one. And then I have these two pieces. One is, well, they both, one side is 3 3/4 and one side is 4. So I want the 4-inch side, and I'm going to need to score this at a 1/2 inch all the way to the end. So I'll score it at a 1/2 inch, at 1 inch, at 1.5 inches, at 2 inches, at 2.5 inches. Was that 2.5 inches? I sure hope so. Yes, okay. 3 inches. And then at 3.5 inches. And I'm going to do the same thing to the second side, or the second one, and make sure I'm on the 4-inch side, and I am. So then I will put it at the 1/2 inch mark and score it at a 1/2. One. 1.5. I have stuff falling down. 2. 2.5. 3. And finally 3.5. So then those are scored. And I don't think I scored this one. No. So scored those, scored those, scored that. Okay, so I think we're done scoring. Okay, so then now what I do is I take this one, and you can decide which piece you want to be on the outside of the card holder or on the inside of the card holder. I kind of am digging these polka dots myself. So I am going to fold these and you can kind of already see how it's going to look. It's going to be something close to this. Not exactly, but something close to this. It's actually going to be more like this, but right now this is what it looks like. Okay, and I have my notes over here that I am referring to myself just to be sure I am doing it right. Then I'm going to take this piece of paper, and I'm going, the 4x6 piece of paper, and I'm going to score that where, or I've already scored it, I'm going to fold it where I want to be on the outside. So on this particular card, I want this to be on the outside. I like the flowers on this one. So this is how this is going to connect. I'm going to connect this piece of cardstock to this piece of cardstock. And I'm going to use this score tape to do it just because I have a lot of score tape. You could use glue, you could use snail adhesive if you wanted to. I would suggest something strong for this though, just a little stronger than snail. Just because you're going to be opening and closing it. I love score tape, really. don't use it a ton. I actually love glue too, so I will kind of switch between the two. They both have their good reasons. And then which side do I want to be the flap? I think I want this side. So I'm going to put this here. I'm just laying it right up against the score line. Put that there, and then you can already see how it's going to look. And this is going to open, and then you're going to have your cards on the inside here. So then I'm going to take this, and you can decide which side you want out. On this one, I think I want the flowers to face out. So I'm going to accordion fold this, which just means you fold it one way, and then you fold it the other way. And I'm just going to keep in mind that I want the flowers to be on the outside. So you make these are called valley folds, the ones that are toward the bottom, and the ones that are up are called mountains. So you just want to do mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain, valley. Just keep on that pattern. So if that folds that way, then this one has to fold this way. And you can see why it's called an accordion, because it just folds onto itself like that. And yes. I stopped using the thing, didn't I? Oh well. There we go. So there's 2 accordion folds. Now these are going to need a piece of score tape on each edge. So on each end of the 1/2 inch, you'll put a piece of score tape. Oops, I ripped it. I'm so strong. Don't know my own strength. Okay, so then there's that. And there's that. So I'm going to peel off the score tape. And you just want to be really careful that you get this right on the edge, and so it can still fold. So what I do a lot of times with things like this is I go ahead and fold up the base where I know it's going to be, and I'm just going to put this right there on the edge so I know that it still folds where it needs to be, and that fits perfectly, just like that. Hopefully that made sense. I'll do it again over here. I'm folding this side up so I can match this edge with that, and then I'm also trying to match this long edge with this side edge. So I'm just doing both of those just to make sure that it is in here. This is going to be able to still fold up. And then I'm going to take off I'm going to remove the tape stuff, and what I'll do is I will just take this and I want to line this up with this side, and match it up with the edge. And then I take my bone folder and I use that to get in there and make sure that so I'm just taking it and I'm rubbing it along the edge there just to make sure that the tape sticks well. And then I don't have to stick my hand in there. I mean, on this one you can, but on some things it's more difficult. Move that over. I am sorry, I'm like on the inside of this card so you can't see what I'm doing very well. But I'm just lining it up so it meets right there. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and just make sure that it's stuck down there. So we already have the majority of the project finished. So then we're going to use the magnet and the punch edge. I'm going to punch this edge out with this punch. This is a Martha Stewart punch, I think. Yes, it is. And so to do this, I'm just going to punch in the middle, and then I'm going over and matching the punch that's there, the punch that I already punched, with this punch board. If you guys don't know how to do that, let me know and I can do a tutorial on it. And it helps a lot if you keep your tongue stuck out. As I have and just had when I noticed. I noticed I had my tongue sticking out. So now it's just kind of a fun frou-frou-y edge. Now if you want to use a ribbon, this would be the time to do the ribbon. And they suggest that you put the ribbon around here and just tie it on the top. I guess that might be cute. We'll go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to tie it in a bow. Well, I think I am. If I can get my fingers to work. Okay. I'm going to trim these edges, or trim these ribbon tails, just like that. I guess, well, I don't know. I'm going to do it both the same way, even though that's probably not the best way, but that's okay. Do you. So there's the ribbon. And then, so here you can see how there's two different patterns there, and then there's my ribbon. That's what this sheet is for. It is just to cover up this so that it looks like it's totally finished. So that is a total optional piece if you want to do that, and you could even do it this way with the pattern on the other side. It doesn't matter, however you want to do it. I used 3 different pieces of paper, but that's only because I have a ton of stash. But you could totally just use 2 pieces of pattern paper, I think, to do this. And I'm talking 12 by 12 paper. I think I'm going to do one more small one. And I'm actually going to take this and move it over and put this right in the middle take this off, and then I'm going to stick my ribbon down on it so that my ribbon won't kind of float all over the place. Then I will take these and I'm going to place this right down on top. And I want to make sure that I can still fold it before I stick it down all the way. But then that just makes it a really kind of nice edge. And then we put the magnet down. And the magnets have adhesive on them already. So what I have found to do is you take the magnet, and this is just in a little, there's a little, when you buy a package of magnets, and I'm just going to put it where I think is the middle. That looks about good. It's probably a little off. Yeah, it is. Moving it over just a hair. It's still not centered, but that's okay. And then I'm going to stick this magnet on it, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the paper off so it's sticky now here. Well, actually it's not. It should be, but my magnet is old, and I think that I just pulled up the whole stick part. So I will get out a handy dandy glue dot. Yikes. I don't know if the glue's gonna stick to it. Okay, yeah, it is. I was like, holy cow. Nothing is sticking to my magnet. I might use 2 glue dots because I don't trust it. Okay, and then you simply fold this where it would be. So I'm going to try to do it so you guys can see. I just fold it down where it would need to stick. I'm going to stick my bone folder in there just to kind of push against it so that it will actually stick to the paper, and so I can pull it off the magnet. And then you should be able to undo it. Yes, and then so both sides are stuck against the other side. Now, it doesn't, the instructions that I have seen for this, it doesn't tell you to do this part, and you don't have to. Clearly, it is good just like that. You don't need to do anything else, but I'm kind of a weirdo, and I'm going to take out a punch. And this one's going to be the same punch that I used for the 3 pieces of Whisper White, which I should probably change. Actually, I'm going to change that anyway to the off-white color. But so let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a piece of this pattern paper, and I'm going to cut that out, or punch that out. And then I'm also going to take a piece of this flowery pattern, if I have any left. Oh yes, I do. And I'm going to cut that out. That's totally optional, but I think it will help finish it. And then you also need 3 pieces of, or 3 circles of the, this is very vanilla, but whatever color your inserts are. And I think I have a 1 1/4 inch punch. I didn't really mention that because it doesn't matter what size you have. Whatever size you have is what will work. And then what I'm going to do is take this, and I think I'm just going to use glue. Ooh, I want to make sure this isn't too big. Okay, it's fine. And I'm just going to cover the magnet. So you might even use a smaller one depending on the size of your magnet. I just want this to cover that. And I'm just pushing the magnet, or pushing the glue down so that it will hopefully stick well. And then, where's my other little one? I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So you want to make sure you get the edges pretty good. And this will help prevent the magnet from going anywhere. And I don't know if I can do the same pattern. I can't. It's all right. However you do it is fine. You're not going to need to follow the same pattern. It'd probably be near impossible to do that, but if you got lucky with something, that's great. I'm just making sure that it's all sealed. And you have to be careful too. I guess I should have done this first. Sometimes the magnets aren't very strong and they wouldn't stick through the paper. This one does, so that's great. But I have done something like this before where I've put paper over the magnet and then tried to stick it, and the magnet no longer seems magnetic because the paper is too thick for the little wee magnet to hold. I have these little tiny magnets that I ordered off of Amazon once, and I try to use them, but I always mess up with them because they're so tiny it doesn't even, I mean, it's almost like you have to hold nothing together for it to work. So then, look how cute that is. So cute. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your 3 insert cards and your 3 circles, and you're going to put 1 circle about halfway down and over just a little bit. Oops, just like that. And I'm just gluing them. And then I'm going to want to put this one more in the middle. And then I'm going to want to put this one, you guessed it, toward the right. And then you can write on here whatever you want the cards to be. So if you want them to be, or if you have stamps, you could use the stamps too. If you want them to be get well, every day, birthday, whatever you want them to be, you can label these, so then you have sections. And then these just fit nicely into here, and they fit where the accordion has the mountain fold. So you can put each one of them somewhere like that. And then when you peek in, you can see where your cards are, and then this just closes just like that, and then it sits up nicely wherever you want it to be, and it's just really cute. Isn't that darling? Such an easy, fun craft, and we will be using this throughout this series to fill it up with cards. So let me just get a few cards out that I have sitting right here. I think there's 3 here. I don't know. I'm just going to put the cards in so you can see what it looks like. These are just previously made cards. And you could even use, like, if you wanted this to be a different section, you could even use that. So this is kind of what it looks like. And then the little dots will stick up a little bit. This one doesn't have them sticking up much. You might even put them a little higher on the card, but it works. And there you go. So that is what it will look like. This would be a really cute present for somebody too, if you had a birthday present or something like that to give to someone. Just really sweet and really cute and handy. Very handy. So I hope that this helps. I hope that you guys will like this card tutorial or tutorial series. I won't call it a card tutorial since I won't only be making cards, obviously. But yeah. Here we go. This is the accordion card holder. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope that you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.